Good evening, everyone. Tonight is January 26, 2025. This is the Columbus City Council meeting, and we'll be using the hybrid agenda, the hybrid interactive technology format. So we'll take roll call votes on our votes. But before we begin, we'll start with the Pledge of Allegiance. Please join me. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which stands one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. On to letter B is the consent agenda. Would someone make the motion to approve, please?
This is Sue. I move to approve consent agenda numbers 3 through 9.
And a second?
This is Janet. I'll second.
Any other discussion or questions? If not, I'll call for the vote, starting with Sue.
Sue, aye.
Janet, I.
Shelley, aye.
And Jesse, aye. We're already down to letter C. Is there anyone who would like to speak at the public open forum? Hearing none, we'll move on to number 11. And this will be a presentation from by the Anoka County Sheriff's Office. And Lieutenant Jessica Slavic is our liaison officer. She's here with everybody, so you guys all come up and introduce yourselves, please. And you can give us a rundown.
Well, good evening, Mayor, council members, guests. Thank you for having us. My name is James Stewart. It is my distinct honor and privilege to serve as your sheriff of Anoka County, and with me tonight, of course, Lieutenant Slavic, who acts as the city liaison, or as your police chief, if you will, and Chief Deputy Kevin Helwig, and on the end is Deputy Derner. And via Zoom or Scope or Web or whatever, is Deputy Bayer on the monitor there. We appreciate you taking the time with us. The Sheriff's Office has had a long-standing partnership with the city. We've been providing the contract services for decades, but we've actually been patrolling and providing a wide array of services to the community since 1857. So those generations of partnerships have been long-lasting and certainly long-enduring, and we've been very fortunate over those years to establish a history of excellence, and I'm proud to say that we continue to pursue that very aggressively. I strive to make sure we're hiring the best, we're training the best, we're retaining the best, and all I ask from our team is their best. And we know that that ultimately is going to play a significant factor into the public trust. We see all around our nation what happens when that trust is absent. If you're not familiar, our mission statement is to protect and serve the community in a manner that preserves the public trust. It's always been a core element of who we are as an organization and what we're about. Our team hears me use words like ambassador and trust and community as a matter of practice, because it's who we are. When we're changing procedures or programs, policies, whatever it looks like, that is at the core of our decision making is, does it meet the mission statement? And I'm proud to say that as we've brought those great people in, they continue to embrace our mission statement, they continue to embrace community, because they know we are the community. You know, we're next to you in the grocery store, our kids are playing together, and we're next to you at church or wherever else. Knowing that we are a part of the community is critically important, and it's also important for the community to remember. We're just people trying to do a good job and trying to serve you in exceptional ways and try to exceed your expectations. And some of the ways we're doing that are going to be the folks you're meeting tonight. I'm very proud to, I'll turn it over actually to Lieutenant Slavic to make the introduction of our deputies in a little more detail, but a quick Jim's opinion on Lieutenant Slavic. Are you nervous? There are few people who consistently exceed my expectations, and she's one of them. And for those who know me, you know that that's very difficult to accomplish. And I think history is a significant indicator of future, and her history is one that I'm very proud of, and I know we'll continue to be very proud of her future as well. And so I'm excited that she's here and serving the city of Columbus, and I know she's going to do a great job leading our team, and you'll get to meet, although we have office-wide, you know, you have dozens of deputies that ultimately patrol the community, and we have a wide array of services and ancillary services as well that will be ready to respond to anything and everything that happens in the community. but your day-to-day faces who are in there interacting with the community and the business owners and making a difference are the deputies that you're going to meet tonight, and I'm also very proud of them and the work that they do. So without further ado, I'll turn it over to Lieutenant Slavic.
Thank you, Sheriff. Good evening, Council. As the Sheriff said, my name is Jessica Slavic, and I'm a lieutenant with the Sheriff's Office. Most recently, I have been assigned to be the new liaison with the Sheriff's Office in the City of Columbus, and I'm very much looking forward to working with all of you. Just a little bit about myself. I've been with the Sheriff's Office for 15 years. I've served in a variety of different roles, detention deputy with our jail division, a patrol deputy. I've spent a number of years in our crime scene unit as a deputy, a sergeant, and a lieutenant, and now I'm in our criminal investigation division as a lieutenant, where we have 18 major case detectives that investigate all kinds of person crimes from assaults, robberies, up to murders. If you don't have any other questions for me, I'd like to introduce our two deputies for the City of Columbus that work from 2:30 p.m. to 2:30 a.m., 7 days a week. I have one here in person, Deputy Eric Derner, and then virtually Deputy Jacob Baer. So starting with Deputy Eric Derner, he's been with the Sheriff's Office since 2009. He's worked a variety of roles too. He started with us as a student worker, then an intern, then a community service officer. He also worked in the jail as a detention deputy and has now been on our patrol division for the last 7 years. He holds a variety of specialties with the office. He is one of our field training officers. He is one of our drone pilots. He has specialized training in crime scene processing, and he is also one of our intoxilizer operators. Deputy Derner has received office commendations for his proactive patrol as well as his DWI enforcement. And Deputy Eric Derner is married to his wife, and they have 2 young children. And outside of work, he enjoys spending time outside and traveling. And lucky him, he just got back from the beautiful state of Hawaii.
Nice.
And Deputy Jacob Baer, he's been with the Sheriff's Office for 7 years with our patrol division. This is his 2nd year in a row working in the City of Columbus, so he might be a familiar face to some of you. He also has specialties within our office. He's a member of our SWAT team. He's a drone pilot, and he also specializes in crime scene processing. He has received office commendations as well for his excellent work on patrol. Deputy Baer enjoys spending time with his wife outside and traveling. Do you two have anything else you wanted to add?
No, that was wonderful. Thank you.
Thank you.
Chief, anything?
No, Kevin Helling, I'm the chief deputy, and I was the liaison back here many years ago now. It's probably been 12 years since I was the liaison, but I've got a long relay. I've been with the Sheriff's Office almost 24 years now. Spent a lot of nights out here in the overnights in the community as one of our countywide deputies. So I've known Elizabeth for a long, long time, and as the sheriff and Lieutenant Slavic said, we are here for you. If you need anything or questions, we are here for you. So please call on us, and we'll if you need something, we'll get it figured out for you.
When in doubt, call us up.
There we go.
Any questions for us?
This is Sue. I guess I just have a general question on just how has everything that's happened over the last couple of years impacted the level of the number of officers that you have in your force? Do you feel like you're at capacity, or are you down like everybody else?
Great question, thank you, council member. The short version is, compared to a lot of agencies, we're in a decent place, but we are short-staffed. And just for a quick perspective, you look back to the early 90s as an example, for those of us who were in the market and looking for a job, there would be agencies who would be looking to hire 1 or 2 people, and we were excited if it was more than 1 vacancy because there was typically 500 to 700 applicants. Fast forward to today, we currently have 10 vacancies for licensed deputy within our office, and we're leaving the posting open because we can't get enough applicants coming in. And I'm proud to say that we haven't had to lower our standards. The people that we're bringing in remain second to none, and in fact, our trick, if you will, is we're hiring a lot of people away from other agencies, and the reason they come typically is because of our reputation and our opportunities. And we're proud of that. We're very proud of our history, as I mentioned before, and I sometimes feel like a broken record, but I am crazy proud of our team and the work that they do, and that's why people want to come here to work with them. But the short, too late for that, but the answer is we are experiencing the difficulties like everybody else, and nationally, recruitment is a very, very difficult process, and retention. We're experiencing people that, over the course of my career, I never thought I would see people just leave the profession because of the rhetoric and the propaganda. And at its core, we have people who have a heart for service. We have people who want to help others, who care about others, and care so much about their communities that they're willing to work nights and weekends and put themselves into harm's way for strangers. And yet, again, the negative rhetoric and a lot of the false information that has been attached to them is a heavy burden for them to carry. And I see it as my job to help combat some of that. I'm very active at the legislature. I'm this year's president for the Minnesota Sheriffs, and I've had the opportunity to be very active at the national level as well. And so when we hear things like police reform as one example, and I know I'm going off on a tangent, I apologize. We hear things like police reform, I was excited. These are opportunities. And when I met with legislators last year, they'd say, here's the 14 items that we're considering, expecting me to be oppositional. They said, what do you think? I said, 12 of those we've been doing for 15 or 20 years. And the other 2, let's talk about the best way to get there. This isn't rocket science. Unfortunately, Minnesota law enforcement has been painted with a brush that is typically tainted by one agency. And I'm no longer walking a fine line and worrying about being offensive to others, but we work very hard to make sure that we are the standard for professionalism, and I think that's what draws others, and knowing that we have great working relationships with our communities. We're not oppositional. We're not in a state of us versus them, because, as I said, we are the community, and we really appreciate those relationships, and it's part of what helps us continue to recruit.
Well, thank you, and thank you for your service.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Any other questions, anyone?
This is Janet. I don't have a question. I also want to thank you for your service. And I'm also thinking that, we just introduced a new website and some new ways to communicate to our city residents. And I'm wondering if this might be an area that we could highlight, by sending some information on. I know when I've talked to a number of our residents, they're very confused about what how our coverage is accomplished, and I'm thinking it might be a way to promote some goodwill, but also do some education about, how we get our police presence here, and what you do for us, and how they can contact you and things like that, and actually introduce the officers that they'll be seeing. So I don't know if that's a possibility, Elizabeth, and I'd be certainly happy to help write something like that, but I think that might be a really nice opportunity and serve a number of different objectives.
Thank you. We think that'd be great, and we'd be happy to work with you and whatever that looks like to make it happen.
Yeah.
Yeah, Rob here. So I just wanted to add to that and build off of what they were saying, but thank you so much for serving our community, putting yourselves in harm's way every day. It's a huge thanks from our community. But I've been seeing a lot of cool things that I hadn't seen in the past, even when I was a kid. Deputies stopping, talking to kids, kids playing basketball in the driveway, and the officer stops and has a conversation with them to build that trust and make sure everyone's okay, right? So thanks so much, and I appreciate your guys' service, guys and gals. So
Thank you very much. Thank you.
I do have one other question. Any observations that you can share with us about the time you spend and what you're seeing, and kind of what you perceive as problems or not problems in Columbus?
I think Deputy can speak a little better to that since he spent last year out here. I was in the city of Andover last year, so I was quite a ways away from here, so I've only spent about a week out here now with some vacations that I took. So Deputy Bear, if you have anything.
I'll unmute myself here. I apologize. I have a little bit of a scratchy throat. the city of Columbus is obviously, you guys have a lot of commercial development going on right now, and that's a great opportunity for the city to build its tax base. I think that with that can come some elevated calls for service. Obviously, more commercial opportunities brings in more people. So I would expect the call load to go up just based on all the things that are coming into the city and the things that you guys are looking to develop, areas that you're looking to develop. So I think over the next year or two, we would see some more calls for service, which may pull some countywide deputies in to assist myself and Deputy Derner there. But I think it's a very exciting opportunity and a very exciting time for the city of Columbus.
I can also say too that this community, the people that live in it are great. I actually had the opportunity of having a Minneapolis officer ride with me on, what was it, Monday night, and him seeing the culture of how we do the job and the citizens and their appreciation for our work out here and their attitude and behavior towards us, which goes a long ways for us. He was absolutely blown away. He couldn't speak highly enough of this city and the citizens that were either passing through or living here and how they interacted with us. So,
Thank you.
Thank you for sharing that.
Yeah, something else I wanted to add. I think it's pretty cool that you came up through the ranks as you started as CSO in the.
yeah, I actually started as a student employee right out of high school. So,
Yeah, no, that's fantastic. So,
yeah, this has been a place that I've grown through, and it's been great.
yeah, good to see.
Well, this is Sue, you brought up the CSO, and did you do your CSO here in Columbus or somewhere in another city?
I spent a very short time as a CSO. I think it was like either 4 or 5 months before, and I actually got hired by the city of Crystal as a police officer, and then left there to come here. But I think I only maybe had a couple shifts in the city of Columbus.
Okay.
So,
But do you feel like that, being in that role, that's the first, like that's a beginning, right? The CSO being in
it's
that role?
certainly a good transitionary job, kind of an introductory job, I guess you could say, to take people that have never worked in law enforcement before and give them a little taste of it before you jump into being a full-on licensed deputy or officer. Between that and then my year that I spent in our jail too, are hands down the best experience that I had to prepare myself for this job, at least, personally speaking.
Yeah, I know that we do have the CSO as part of our contract, and we use that service, and we feel like it's a benefit to Columbus to have that role here and, give them the opportunity to learn and grow, along with us receiving a benefit from it also.
Absolutely.
And for us as an agency, and especially like Eric's case and other cases, is these young and upcoming, future deputies, officers, we get eyes on them and get a chance to see their work ethic and character and how they deal with people. And when we see good ones, we try to get our claws into them, and sometimes we got to bring them back from other places. So, but it's good for us because we do hire a lot of our own CSOs as deputies once they get through all their schooling. So.
Okay, yeah, thank you.
Any other questions? No? All right. Well, thank you, council.
Yeah,
Stay
thank you.
warm.
Thanks for coming. Yeah,
You as well.
stay warm.
Thank you.
Thank you, Jessica, and council members and everyone. Jessica left us each a card, so if you need to get a hold of her, she's available.
Yep, thank
Right?
you.
That's right.
Thank you, Mr. Stewart.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, I was a little late, so. Great, thank you. Uh-huh.
Thank you, Jim. There we go.
Thank you very much.
Of course, you're all welcome to stay for the rest of the meeting, but if you feel like you want to go, go ahead. Thank you for coming tonight. All right, we'll move on to number 12, which is our Planning Commission report, but it was a joint meeting, and we all were everybody was there, so there's no report on that tonight. Letter D, staff and consultants report, engineer report.
Good evening, Mayor and City Council. I have no report tonight.
Wow.
Attorney's report, number 14.
Mr. Mayor and Council, in your packets is a resolution authorizing the sale of city-owned property that is Haggard Park. This resolution is required by state law to transfer the property, and there's a finding that it does not affect the comprehensive plan. You may recall that some time ago, I believe with the update, Haggard Park was removed as a park designated property. And so there is no inconsistency with the comprehensive plan in disposing of this property. Also, at the last meeting in December 29th, the council opened sealed bids for the property and awarded the property sale to Mr. Ali, who's an adjacent property owner. So we are taking steps now. We have a number of documents prepared for closing. That closing will occur around February 15th. We don't have a firm date, but in the next couple of weeks. So this is just another piece of that transition. And if there are questions, I can answer them. If not, we'd look for an adoption of the approval of the resolution.
Thank you, Bill. Anybody
Thank
have
you.
questions?
I'm willing to make the motion.
Jessica, what
This
would,
is,
go ahead.
yeah, we're gonna be at resolution number 22-01.
Thank you. Can I do it?
This is Rob. I move to approve Resolution 22-01, authorizing the sale of city-owned property, Haggard Park.
This is
And-
Sue, I'll second.
Is there any other questions or discussion? Hearing none, I'll call for the vote.
Sue, aye.
Rob, aye.
Janet, I.
Shelley, I.
Jesse, aye. So the rest is just paperwork, correct? Or,
Yes,
Phone
everything is kind of falling into place. There's actually it's a very simple transaction. We have no purchase agreements since you just accepted the bid. And so that streamlines things. There's about a half a dozen documents that are being drafted to affect the closing.
thank you, Bill.
Thank you.
Anything else from you?
Nothing further unless you have questions.
No? Thank you. On to number 15, the mayor and city council members report. Sue.
This is Sue, I don't have anything tonight.
Rob, no report?
Okay, so I'm going to be the odd one out, and I do have a report. This is an update on our process, or progress, I should say, towards internet. And Elizabeth, you can help me out on this a little bit. I wanted to just kind of give an update on where we're at with the contracts that we've talked about at a number of meetings. Elizabeth updated me yesterday that we're in the process of getting the contracts reviewed by Anoka County, by our attorney. We don't expect that there's going to be any significant delay or changes in anything, so that should move forward quickly. There are 4 areas that are slated to be done in 2022, which I'm super excited to say, and that will cover about 187 households. I can't really talk about where they're at this point until we can get these contracts signed, but they're the places that we've talked about in our previous meetings. The average cost per hookup is about just a little over $2,000 per household. And I want to make sure I understand this because I just saw this. It's about 54% being covered by dollars that Midco has, and 46% by the ARPA dollars that we've obtained either ourselves and or through the county, Anoka County. So there still are some dollars left that we can pursue further contracts with CenturyLink and or Midco, and there's a couple of areas that we had identified that hopefully we could apply those to. Those would likely be in construction season 2023, not next year. So that's all moving forward. We've also talked about doing some outreach to our state and federal legislators. And we made some progress in that area also. Mayor Priner and I were invited to an event on January 16th that Congressman Emmer was holding. It was like a holiday event. And Mayor Priner was quite efficient in getting the ear of Congressman Emmer about our problem with internet in Columbus. He hooked us up with his Minnesota staffer. We have a meeting set up with his staff person next Thursday. And so we'll start laying out what our problem is and start talking about, if there's ways that they can help us, and that hopefully will lead to something, we'll see. But I'm super excited that we were given that opportunity and access to Congressman Emmer as we had. So that's my report.
This is Elizabeth Mersko, City Administrator. I just want to make sure that everyone understood that the contracts that we're signing is for construction year this year, for 2022, and then the other funds we will put to use in 2023, but we'll put those in place early this year so we know that we have a spot for 2023.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Shelley, do you have anything?
I have nothing.
All right, that's down to me. I have one thing. Over the weekend, I'm sad to say, I went to the funeral service, and actually Rob and Rochelle were there too, for Barb Masteller. I don't know how many of you recognize her or remember her, but she was a clerk here for 20 years or about, yeah. So anyway, and she lived on Iverson Street, down the street from you guys. And she had 3 boys, Mike, John, and Tom, who some of us know. And she was just a really nice person. And it's so sad what happened, but it was a nice service. And Elizabeth had sent a bouquet from the city staff and included the council on the card also. So anyway, this will be in the office if anybody wants to take a look at it. And that's all I have for tonight.
Yeah, this is Rob. Jesse, thanks for bringing that up, and I shouldn't have forgot that, but yeah, Barb Masteller is a huge part of my childhood growing up in the neighborhood on Iverson, so she will be deeply lost in the area. She typically didn't miss any events in the area, so, but great lady, and sounds like her youngest son is going to be joining our community, so moving into the house, so thank you for bringing that up, Jesse.
Yep. Public Works, Jim.
I have one simple report. On January 3rd was the start date of our new Public Works employee. His name is Brady Baker. I didn't do this report last week or last council meeting because I really didn't have a time to work with him. So Tim and Bill have been doing some of the training where Bill is doing the sewer water stuff. Tim is working on equipment and shop type things with him, and I'm of course doing the paperwork side and a lot of the training, things like that. He came from MnDOT. He does have some snowplow experience, so we have not turned him loose in a big plow truck yet, but he has been plowing cul-de-sacs and turnarounds, stuff like that in the small trucks, just to kind of learn the route and kind of what our processes are here. He's catching on very well. He has a fantastic attitude and fits in very well with the city staff. So I think we made a good choice, and I think he's going to be a long-term employee here at the city. So he appears to really like it. So that's all I have, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you. City Administrator, no, Assistant to the City Administrator's report. Jessica.
I have no report tonight. Thank you.
Thank you. City Administrator's report.
Mr. Mayor and council members, just a quick update again on our hiring process. We have 2 ads out currently. One is for the public communications coordinator, and the other is for an accountant position. For the public communications coordinator, we have received 11 applications. Jim and I have evaluated those applications, and we have 4 candidates that we will be interviewing in the next couple of days. So we hope to bring a recommendation from the Personnel Committee in the short term. And with the accountant position, I do have it posted. We had one application, but I do think that we'll probably have to have an interim measure. And I will talk through the Personnel Committee as to what that interim measure will be, as we have services that have to be looked at and addressed, kind of on a weekly, daily basis in the accounting department. And that's all I have today.
Thank you, Elizabeth. On to letter E. Planning Commission is February 2nd. So that'll be next Wednesday, 6:30 p.m. A City Council workshop on the 8th at 5:30. And then our next City Council meeting will be on the 9th at 6:30. And the calendar's on the back.
Mr. Mayor, I have to make one correction. So we do have the revised calendar that was just published or will be published in the paper tomorrow, and the calendar on the website will be updated. So on February 8th, it will be not only a city council, but an EDA workshop. It was one of those things that we talked about at the organizational meeting that we were going to combine it.
Yep.
The format that I have come up with is that we will hold the EDA workshop first at 5:30, as we have two additional members, and then they won't have to sit through the meeting of that portion for the council. So I do believe on the 8th, there will be an hour and a half of EDA, and then there will be an hour and a half or so of city council discussion. Currently on what I have scheduled, I have Shelley's branding, broadband on the brain, branding short presentation, and I'll talk to you about that in the next couple of days, Shelley, as how you want to do that. I have called Samantha Markham to see if she would be available that day for an update just on the county initiatives and what they're doing for 2022. And then also the discussion of the 182nd Lane cul-de-sac will be on the council portion of that workshop so far. And with that, that's all I have for calendar news.
So would you repeat one thing? I was filling in my calendar. So this says this is on February 8th, which is a Tuesday.
Yes.
So we're having our workshop at 5:30 and then a council meeting.
No, it's a Tuesday.
The following day.
It's one workshop.
Oh, okay.
We just indicated that we wanted an EDA workshop and a council workshop on the same night.
Got it. Thank you.
I'm just having the EDA portion first,
Okay.
and then the council portion.
And then on Wednesday would be Wednesday the 9th at 6:30 is the usual city council meeting.
Yes.
Thank you. I was writing, I wasn't listening. All right. Anything else anyone would like to say before we drop the hammer? Motion?
Motion to adjourn?
This is Janet, second.
Any
Sue,
questions?
Sue, aye.
Rob, aye.
Janet, aye.
Shelley, aye.
Leslie, aye. Our meeting is adjourned.